fellow folks, and welcome to my channel where I talk a little bit about being me. Today is the anniversary of my wake up day. At this point, I would have been unconscious for 10 days. My mother and my daughter were on their way from El Paso to come see me, which is about a day's journey. By an amazing coincidence, the same day they arrived to see me in the hospital was the day that I woke up. Every day until that day, my dad would be stroking my forehead and talking to me to help encourage brain activity until I woke up. And on that day, with my mom and Daniela on one side and my dad on the other, my dad was stroking my forehead and said my childhood nickname. He said, "Hello, Sorrel." And at that moment is when I opened my eyes and looked at my dad and said, "Hi, Daddy." According to my family, the entire rest of the time that they were talking to me and explaining to me what had happened, most of all I could get out and say as much as I could was, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And they thought that one of the reasons that I was saying that to everybody was because I was so happy that I had survived and I had made it through. When actually at the time, I was saying all of that because I wasn't sure that I would survive and I would make it. And I wanted to make sure that everybody knew how much I loved them in case I didn't pull through. But thankfully I did. On March 7th, the day after my wake up day, is when they explained to me that I would need to have an amputation, which I'll cover in more detail in another video. And on March 8th is when I went through with the surgery. Now, oddly enough, since this was the first time I had ever had surgery, I was actually more worried about going under anesthesia than the outcome of the surgery. But thankfully, everything went as intended. I was able to get through the surgery, and as soon as I woke up, my dad asked me how I was feeling, and I told him that I'm just glad to be alive, which I very much was. And the first thing that I asked him to do was to take a picture of me to send to everyone to let them know that I was okay. Now, in hindsight, a few months later, I looked back on that picture and I realized maybe that wasn't as good of a picture as I thought to tell everybody I was okay. But the important thing is that I was alive and that I was going to make it through and do everything that I could to continue making progress. So now, a year later, I'm here. I've made a lot of progress. I still have a lot further to go, but I'm so happy that I can be here to share my experiences with you, both past and future, and talk more about what I'm looking forward to and share with you all the progress I continue to make. Feel free to submit any questions that you might have for future content. I'd love to hear all of your questions. Nothing is off limits if they're curious about it. And send it to this email, which is also linked in the description. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.